Crisscross. No, get up there beside Joseph.
Sit right here, Layla. Joseph, scoot this way towards Maddie.
Kamari,
just a teeny
crisscross.
scooch. Thank you. Alright, so today we're going to read a story, and it's about Pete the Cat. We've read several Pete the Cat stories, but this one is about Pete the Cat and his white shoes. But first, before we start reading, I want you to remind me, what does a good listener look like? We talked yesterday about what a good listener looked like, and then we did a really good job listening. So I want you to remind me again today. Kamari, what does a good listener look like?
Sitting quiet.
You're sitting quietly.
Raise your hand to speak.
You raise your hand to speak. What else?
I'm talking on
We don't talk when the teacher's talking. How do we sit? Sarah, how do we sit? Are you showing me? So tell me, how do you sit? What are you doing with your
Sit cross, applesauce, hands in the
hands? It up. I like to call my spoons out. Just put them in my lap when I sit crisscross. So we're going to talk a little bit about cause and effect. And a cause means why something happened, and an effect is what actually happened. So in order to learn more about what the cause and the effect, I have a little science experiment I want to do.
I got
So
to Pete the Cat going to school.
Awesome. So this is a different book, but we're going to learn about it in just a second. So I want to find someone who's sitting quietly, and I'm going to ask them to be my volunteer. They're going to be my scientist, and they're going to help me with my little experiment. Riley, can you come help me? Come stand right here. Can everyone see Riley? All right. Riley, I have an egg here for Riley. And Riley's going to do something really silly. Are you ready? Hold the egg.
Cold.
It is cold. I want you to hold it right here. And Riley, guess what she's going to do? She's going to drop the egg. All right, Riley, drop the egg. Whoa, what happened? You guys see, look what happened to my egg. Look what happened to my egg. All right, so everyone sit on your bottom. All right, Riley, you can have a seat for me. So, I have a question. We're talking about cause and effect. So the cause, we said, was why something happened. So the effect was what happened. So what happened? We're going to start with the effect because that makes it a little bit easier. What happened, Maddie?
The egg cracked a little bit, but the other part of this part didn't crack.
You're right. So the egg, all right, watch out, Layla. The egg cracked. So that is what happened. The egg cracked. All right, I'm going to ask for a volunteer to tell me what the cause was. Why did the egg crack? Raise your hand if you can tell me why the egg cracked. Well, why did the egg crack? Thank you for raising your hand.
Because it's fragile.
Because it's fragile. But what happened? Why did the egg crack? So,
Riley.
what did Riley do that made the egg crack?
Drop it. Drop it.
She dropped the egg. That's right. Don't touch it.
It'll make you sick.
So Riley, she dropped the egg, so that was the cause. And then what was the effect?
I thought
The
it was
effect was that the egg cracked. So, we're going to read this story.
I thought it was a dinosaur egg.
No, it was a chicken egg, but it's okay. We're going to move on. We're going to read the story. Pete the Cat, I love my white shoes. And when we read this story, something's going to happen to Pete's shoes. And we're going to stop, and we're going to learn what the cause was and what the effect was of Pete's shoes cracking. Can you come move right back over here?
These are Pete's shoes.
So, before we read, we're just going to flip through the pages.
Are we gonna look at it?
We're just going to look at the pages just like you did yesterday.
We're not gonna read it?
We are. We're going to read it just after.
I love my watch.
Right, make sure your eyes are on the page. I'm just going to flip through.
Oh yeah, I read that book. I had it when Miss Easter gave it to me.
So we're going to read and we're going to find out the cause and effect.
Wow, it's not a long book.
It's okay. We're just looking at the picture, so we're just looking with your eyes.
I love it. It's hilarious. And then she's so cute. I read that. Oh no. And the shoes are there.
Alright, we're just flipping through the pages and looking with our eyes.
It blends in. And when he washes them, they're pretty. I wish I could see him.
Go through. Almost done. Alright, so now we're going to read our story. And remember, we're going to talk about the cause and the effect. Before we get started, can anyone remind me, what is the cause? Raise your hand. Remember the cause. Does the cause happen first or last? Raise your hand if you can tell me.
What happened to the chick?
Raise your hand. Did the cause happen first or last?
What happened to the chick in the
Well, what happened? Did the cause happen first or last?
First.
First. And what happened last? Can you raise your hand if you can tell me what happened last in the story? Was it the cause or the effect? Maddie, what was it?
Cause. The water was.
No, but what happened last? The cause or the effect? We haven't read the story yet. Well, it says the cause happens first. So what happens last? Can anyone help her? What happens last? Maddie, what happens last? Right? So what part was the cracking of the egg? Was it the cause or the effect? Do you remember? Haley, do you remember what part was it? The effect. So Pete the cat, I love my white shoes. Thank you for sending crisscross. Pete the cat was walking down the street in his brand new white shoes. Pete loved his white shoes so much. He sang this song. I love my white shoes. I love my white shoes. I love my white shoes.
I love my red.
Oh no. Pete stepped in a large pile of strawberries. What color did it turn his shoes?
Red.
Red.
I love my
Alright, so we're
red.
going to take a second. Alright, so look, it says the cause was Pete stepped in strawberries. So what happened to Pete's shoes? Raise your hand if you can tell me what the effect was on Pete's shoes when he stepped in strawberries.
Red.
Alright, I'm looking for a new volunteer. Raise your hand.
You're going to color them.
Raise your hand, Isabella. What happened to Pete's shoes?
They turn red.
They turned red. Can you come color Pete's shoes red for me? Thank you. So Pete's shoes turned red. So let's take a minute. Pete's shoes red. So what was the cause again? Raise your hand if you can tell me what the cause was. Haley, what was the cause?
That's cool. He stepped in strawberries.
He stepped in red shoes. Pete stepped in
Red.
strawberries.
A large pile.
I'm just going to summarize, and he just stepped in some strawberries. All right, can anyone tell me the effect? What was the effect of Pete stepping in these strawberries? What happened? All right, raise your hand if you can tell me the answer. Gage, what happened? Pete's shoes turned red. Thank you for helping me write my sentence. All right, let's keep reading.
But not so Layla, you don't need to help.
Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. He kept walking along and singing his song. Everything is cool. I love my red shoes. I love my red shoes. I love my red shoes. Oh no! Pete stepped in a large pile of blueberries. What color did it turn his shoes?
Blue.
Blue. Did Pete cry?
No.
Goodness, no. He kept walking along and singing his song. So I'm taking a second. What happened? What was the cause this time? What was the cause? Come on, what was the cause? What happened? What was the cause? The blueberries.
Blueberries.
So the cause, help me write a sentence, Kamari. Pete stepped in blueberries. Can someone raise your hand? Can you tell me the effect? What happened to because he stepped in the blueberries? Layla, what happened? All right, Layla, can you come color Pete's shoes for me? Shoes turned.
Oh, I want to color it.
okay. You got a turn to speak, so now Layla's going to color the shoes blue. Thank you, Layla. Alright, we're going to keep moving. Layla's coloring our shoes blue because that was the effect.
She was
We're not going to talk about other people's coloring like that. I think she's doing a great job. It's hard to color on the board like this. Thank you, Layla. That's a good job. Thank you.
No, Layla and Isabel have been good.
You did. Alright, time to finish reading. I love my blue shoes. I love my blue shoes. I love my blue shoes.
I love my blue shoes.
Oh no! Pete stepped in a large puddle of mud. What color did it turn his shoes?
Brown.
Brown.
I love my
Did Pete cry?
goodness
He
no.
kept walking along and singing his song. Groovy. Alright, so we're going to stop and take another second. What was the cause this time? What was the cause? Sanaya, what was the cause? What was the cause? What happened? Why did something happen? So think about it. What was the cause? Pete did what? He stepped in mud. Pete stepped in a mud puddle. Alright, what was the effect? Can someone raise your hand? Can you tell me the effect? Maddie, what happened? What was the effect of stepping in that mud puddle? You turned his shoes brown. Pete's shoes turned brown. Maddie, can you come color Pete's shoes brown for me? Sit crisscross, please. Alright, I like the way everyone is sitting crisscross and you're waiting for the next turn. Thank you. You're getting good at this. I love my brown shoes. I love my brown shoes. I love my brown shoes. Alright, no, all done. Oh no!
Why?
Pete stepped in a bucket of water.
Why?
And all the brown, and all the blue, and all the red.
What all? I love my
Were washed away. What color were his shoes again?
White.
White. But now they were wet. Did Pete cry?
Goodness no.
He kept walking along and singing his song. Rock
I love
and
my
roll.
white shoes.
Alright, this one's a little different. What caused Pete's shoes this time? What caused it? Carson?
All the colors.
Oh, alright, so that's the effect, but what happened first? Why did that happen? Pete stepped in water. Alright, so what was the effect? What happened to Pete's shoes because he stepped in the water? Haley, what happened? Pete's shoes. Haley, will you come color some raindrops on my shoes? White and
Hey, you got 2 turns.
wet.
You didn't even get a turn. Yes, you did.
Great. Let's not worry about how many turns Haley had, but let's worry about how we're sitting crisscross and we're following expectations.
She's coming out of white.
No, she's going to color some raindrops on my shoes because they are white and wet. They're already white. So she's going to color some raindrops. Not raindrops, like puddle drops. Thank you, Haley.
Don't you had color in the shoes.
I love my wet shoes. I love my wet shoes. I love my wet shoes. Look, this is silly Pete's shoes that squeak, squeak, squeak.
Squeak, squeak, squeak.
The moral of Pete's story No matter, alright, listen. No matter what you step in, keep walking along and singing your song.
He's big. Yes, he is. He's about
Because it's all good. So I have a few questions for you about. Yeah, I have a few questions for you about my story. Are you ready for my questions?
Yes.
I'm waiting for you to be sitting crisscross, following directions. Are you sitting crisscross, following directions?
Yes.
I like the way you're sitting. All right, so I have a question. What was the message of the story? What was Pete trying to tell us in this story? Every time he stepped in something, his shoes turned a different color and something happened to them. But Pete did one thing the whole story. What was that? Kamara, what happened? What was Pete trying to tell us? You think he wanted the white ones? What was? Are you listening? What happened? What was Pete trying to tell us? His shoes turned different colors. But what was he thinking in his heart the whole time? So first his shoes were red, then they were blue. But what did he know the whole time? He kept saying, goodness, no, he didn't do what? He didn't cry about it, did he? So Pete knew it was all good the whole time. So I have a game we're going to play. In my game, I'm going to see if you were paying attention to my story and if you were doing the right thing and you were sitting quietly and you were using your listening ears and you were really thinking about the cause and effect in our story and why the cause was something, why something happened and the effect was what happened. So I'm going to get you, if my statement is true, that means that it did happen in my story, I need you to give me a thumbs up. Show me how to do that. Show me how to do that. And if it was false, what do you think you're going to do? Do it like this. And if you have no idea what happened in my story, that means maybe you didn't really remember that happened in the story. I want you to go like this. Okay? So go like this. Show me how you do that. All right. So my first one, are you ready? Turn your listening ears on. Pete's shoes were white in the beginning of the story. When we started the book, what color were Pete's shoes? Were they white? Give me a thumbs up if you think they were white. Pete stepped in a pile of strawberries, and the effect was that his shoes turned purple. Pete stepped in a pile of strawberries, and the effect was his shoes turned purple. All right, no, that didn't happen in my story. In the end of the story, Pete's shoes were white. You're right, in the end of the story, Pete's shoes were white and wet. Let's go back. Let's go back. Pete screamed his song. Did Pete scream his song in my story?
No.
Show me with your hand signal.
Signal, no.
No, Pete didn't scream his song. What did he do? Raise your hand if you can tell me what Pete did.
Signal,
What did he do, Ben? What did he do? Did he scream his song?
no.
What did he do?
What did Red signal. Bless you.
He sang his song. That's right. So, the next one, are you ready? Show me you're ready. Give me your eyes.
Achoo.
Scoot back. Pete never cried.
Did
Did Pete cry in my story? If Pete didn't cry, give me a thumbs down. If he did cry, give me a thumbs up. That's right, Pete never cried. That was our moral of the story. He didn't cry. And it is all good. Was it all good in my story?
Yes. I know.
Give me a thumbs up. That's right. It was all good in the story.
Did you, was that book from your house?
It was. All right, so I have one more question. Actually, two more questions. Are you ready? I want to know if someone can raise their hand and tell me what a cause is. Will, what is a cause?
Something that happens before the effect.
Something that happens before the effect. And what is the effect? Raise your hand if you can tell me what the effect was. Will told us what the cause was. What was the effect? Riley, what was the effect?
His shoes turn different colors.
His shoes turned different colors. So it was what happened in the story.
His shoes turn different colors.
That's right. All right. So remember, we can try to determine cause and effect in life, like with our egg. And when we read different stories, we can see why, what happened, and then what actually happened in our story. And we can think about it just like we thought about this egg in the beginning. We can think about it when we read Pete the Cat and when we read other stories. We're not going to eat the egg, it's raw.
It'll make you sick.
Thank you for doing such a good job and sitting crisscross.